Hello, I'm Nick from Country Walking Magazine and we're here today at Dovestones Reservoir at the top end of the Peak District. The aim today is to compile one of our very popular how-to features where we take a basic skill of walking and really break it down for the reader. So today we've come here because it's right on the fringe of Saddleworth Moor, some really sort of desolate tracts of land where we can hopefully test our skills to the limit. The plan today is to go up from the reservoir, cross the plateau and come back down via the valley just to our north there. But in order to get started we're going to need an expert, so let's go and find one.
Hello, I'm Mark Reid. I write the In-Way books and I'm a mountain leader and I teach navigation skills in all over the north of England, and we're here in the Peak District. So we're going to head up onto the hills above Dovestones and we're going to show you all the skills you need to navigate across the hills, which are essentially the same as skills as you need in the valley, but just adding a few more on. Okay, one of the key differences between valley walking and hill walking is the different types of features, and what you need to really get good at is interpreting the contours on the hills, because the shape of the landscape is what you use to navigate a lot. And trying to turn a 2D map into a 3D image in your mind is quite a difficult thing, so I always bring this out to show people, because there are only 6 types of topographical feature. And you've got flat ground, steep ground, valleys, spurs, saddles and knolls. And there they are, and it's relating the two. So you've got flat ground, which is there, the valleys coming in here, which is contours cutting in. You've got the saddle in between, which is there, the knolls, the ring contours, steep ground, and a spur or a ridge going down there. Yeah, we've got to look ahead. We're thinking about the maps and menu, so we need to read ahead of what we're going to have for our dinner. Looking at the terrain, because this upland area is showing a right of way is going across there, but it's just a green line, so there's nothing, it's not saying there's anything visible on the ground, because you need a black dotted line.
The green line simply means right of way.
There's a legal line there.
Yeah.
The stuff that's black on the map is visible. So there's that going across the moorland, but when you look at it, it's fairly featureless, and looking at the map, there's this edge and escarpment that's going to have a lot more interest. So we think about route planning ahead, just looking ahead, and we call it route simplification. And if you think of it like a traffic light, you want to keep your navigation to green or amber. You don't want to be doing red, and red is where you're using bearings and pacing. So across this moorland here would be amber, maybe touching red. Whereas walking on the edge here would be green, because you're just following the linear feature, which is the edge of the escarpment.
And what do you call that?
Elvis.
Process, of the most natural line following the
Well,
linear feature?
It's a line of least resistance, but when you look at the map, the way I view it is I look for linear features, spot features. Spot features are all the little crags, and they've got a visible track there, so I'm looking for the easiest way. So if we want to get across to this stream here, the hardest way is to go straight across. It might be the shortest way, but it's featureless terrain, it's boggy, it's rough, and it's all this moorland here, and there are no views, so especially on a good day like today. So it might be slightly longer, but navigationally easier is to handrail along. We just cut across here, from there to there. Well, from between there and there might be orange light, and then this is green light all the way. A bearing is measuring the angle of a path on the map and then relating it to the landscape so you can follow it. We call this going from map to ground. So a compass bearing allows you to follow a direction by just looking at a compass rather than keep referring to your map. So it allows you to take your compass off the map. And you use this when there's very poor visibility or there's not many features in featureless terrain, because it allows you to take the compass off the map and then follow the direction by just walking on a compass. So today we've got great visibility and loads of features, but just to show you how to do it, we're on this edge here and we're not sure which direction to go. We want to actually walk this way, but we want the compass to point us in that right direction. So we're just stood here. So I put the side of the compass along the path I want to take with the black direction travel arrow pointing in that direction. Like that, or you could use one of the black lines as well, like that. So that's the direction we want to go with the black arrow pointing in that direction. And that's the first step. The second step is then move the compass housing, and you move that until it points to the top of the map. So you move it round until it's perfectly aligned with the vertical blue lines, and then you double check that it's still aligned. You'll see how that red arrow is now pointing to the top of the map. Okay, I've measured the angle of the path we want to take, so I take the compass off the map, and then I need to allow for magnetic variation. At the moment it's around 2 degrees, so I move it to the left, one little notch like that. Allow for magnetic variation, and then I stand holding the compass, looking down at it right in front of me, and I move until that needle fits in the red arrow, like this. Okay, and that's done now. I stand behind it, and then I look up the black direction of travel arrow, and that's the way we go.
Which in this instance happens to be more or less
It just
due
happens
north.
to be north. That's an easy one, isn't it?
Brilliant, thanks Mark.
Okay, right.
Are we rolling?
So we've got a bearing.
Yeah.
Our bearing we've just sighted, and we've got a transit point of 2 features in line, and we're going to follow that and not take our eyes off it, because if we go into a dip we might lose it. Double check it again, that's right.
Not take our eyes off
Off
the
our
line of
points
sight.
we've picked,
Okay.
because otherwise you'll start drifting.
Sorry, just not the compass you mean? 'Cause we're
Yeah,
gonna put the
yeah.
compass away.
So the compass is aside here, because we're going to now measure. We're going to walk on this for 1,000 metres to hit this stream, but there's a few things along the way to keep ticking off. 2 things, 2 other streams. So we need to measure distance. Really important. This is dead reckoning. You've got pacing and bearings. Pacing is the most accurate way of measuring distance. Now my pacing on the flat is 62 double paces for 100 metres. Because we're on this grass and this rough moorland, I'm going to add 10% on because it's rough moorland. Okay, so I'll be looking at around 68 for my 100 metres. And when we've done 68, we'll stop and check the bearing and do another 100 metres.
So when you say a double pace, that's like 1, 2.
That's it, yeah. And everyone's varies, it's all about stride length. I take 62 double paces for 100 metres.
We measured mine earlier at 63.
So yours is 63. I mean, the average is around that 60, 62, 64. But I have come across people with 80 double paces and some with in their high 50s. So you need to find a 100-metre section and measure it.
Okay, so we're going to walk 100 metres.
100 metres on that
In
direction.
the right direction, and then re-measure the bearing when we get
Okay,
there.
that's it. Let's go.
So this is it. We've been able to work our way right the way over the moor, almost directly from Chew Reservoir, and navigate our way here directly. Hopefully that's been helpful. We'll have a sign off in a minute, but yeah, for me at the moment, stuck up the Trinicle. I'll see you later. So here we are, back again. Hope there was lots of interesting stuff in there, but I thought we'd ask Mark just to sort of summarise some of the key points of moorland navigation and what we've just learned, really.
Yeah. Well, the key things to remember are always work out the 4 Ds. Direction, which way is it? Distance, how far is it? Detail, what are you going to pass? And destination, how do you know you got there? And always think of your map as your menu for your dinner. So you need to be working. It's only tells you so many things, but there's a lot more out there. So try and work ground to map, looking around you and then relating it back to the map rather than the other way. And the other key thing to think about is the traffic lights. So try and keep things as simple as possible, always on green light or amber. There's lots of features, lots of things to follow, lots of things to tick off. Try and keep the red light, the hard stuff, to a minimum, because the more you do that, the more chance there is of making mistakes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Mark, thanks very much indeed for your time. There's more on this in the new issue of Country Walking magazine that's out now. But from us for now, bye-bye.
Cheers. Elvis.